Hey, good evening, guys. Welcome to tonight's Scrim night with Era White against Resilience Esports. That's right, guys. No scene change. Because we don't care, we just want the good quality game. That's what this is all about. Now, we do pop into Champ Select right now. With Era White on that blue side, of course. Well, pretty odd. Pirate Pet. Actually banning out the pirate there. Gangplank, of course, very strong champion in the right hands, but I guess won't be the priority pick tonight. Corky going off the board as well. So far, do think these bans are more player targeted than anything else. However, this is my first time watching these guys play, so this will be pretty interesting. Now, this game, or this series, is about, I'd say, about high platinum to diamond elo. So we will see, it'll be a lot more cleaner, and it'll be a lot less messy, a lot less mistakes. And one of the things I do find throughout my time playing League as well, and within my climb, is that as you go towards the mid-diamond level, as you start to kind of break that little gap, or the jump over that fence and move on to that high diamond 2+ skill bracket, it actually becomes a very different game, because it feels like that everything under that is like based off of whichever team makes the least mistakes win. But however, above that level, people don't really make mistakes. So that's what, I would say where actual League of Legends begins, because with people not making enough mistakes to punish, you actually have to actively make plays. So I do see a bit of a technical difficulty on this side of Resilience Esports, because Aussie internet, guys, that's what it's about. And apparently he's got about a 2000 ping right now, so of course this happens while I'm solo casting. Excellent. But this is what it's about. So for those of you doing the rank climb, it's actually up until, I'd say, Diamond 4, Diamond 3. It's actually less about actually making plays. It's just more about waiting for other people to make mistakes. And, as long as you learn what those mistakes are and how to see them, you should be pretty alright, because everything up until then is pretty much just basics and fundamentals. Like things like wave management, and things like recall timings, your mid-game rotations, those things that are just, they sound, and they are very fundamental concepts that people should, or are still developing under that level. And once you start heading to that Diamond 2 bracket, you will see players that are very onto it, and that don't really give you much room to punish them. So that's where it gets very interesting. Now, yeah, these players are almost around that, so we probably will see a couple of mistakes here and there, but I am expecting both teams to actively look for windows and actively make plays. And I do see Tristana and Israel gonna get taken off the board, opting to take their bot lane AD carries in the first rotation of this pick. Of course, Tristana, oh man, I really freaking hate that champion, because she's just so strong at all points in the game. Like whenever I play solo queue, Tristana's permabanned, guys. Yeah, and I just hate, I'll be honest, I hate everything about that champion. I hate how she looks. I hate her voice. I hate versing her. I hate playing as her. I hate her abilities. Oh my god. Yeah, I just hate everything about Tristana. But, you know, very strong champion right now, having a lot of options to peel for herself and a lot of mobility with that reset. Now we do see Lulu going to be taken here to help keep the Israel alive in this bot lane. Also, possibly a establishing a poke lane as well down in the bot side. And you see Gragas, of course, getting taken on the side of Arrow White. Now Gragas, bit of a, feels like every time I see a Gragas, it's always like a bit of a hit or miss, because you either get Gragases that like know how to path and that are freaking everywhere, or you get Gragases that kind of just sit there and just kind of, you know, exist, I guess. So we'll see how it goes. We haven't seen Gragas in quite a while actually, so it's a little bit refreshing to see. Relatively new champion, I'd say, in terms of this patch. I haven't quite seen him played at all, and yeah, this will be great to see. Now we do see the bans coming through. Of course, Victor and Ari both very solid and safe mid lane picks. Of course, Victor having that super uber strong scaling, and Ari being a great all-round champion, being able to play like a pseudo role as both a mage and a assassin. Now, Nautilus is taken by Resilience here. Now, it could be going for the Nautilus Tristana bot lane, which is just completely huge all-in potential here. One hook and you're pretty much dead. Of course, Lulu will help a little bit with that, but early on, it is still very, very dangerous. Having that Karma probably is going to be assigned to the mid lane. Of course, having a support champion in the mid lane is a pretty solid pick when you have both your AD carry and your jungler as well, essentially marksman. So it's a very great supportive champion in that lane. Also, just to hold, you know, Hakama does have decent wave clear as well and can set up ganks with her root. Now, do you see Ornn and Kog'Maw, very strong and safe late game scaling champions. Of course, Ornn just gonna be unkillable, and having that item upgrade as well. Kog'Maw, just huge amounts of damage, and it looks like that Ezreal won't be going to the bot lane. He might be taking it mid. Now, Kog'Maw Lulu, that is the infamous Kog'Maw late game hyper scaling hyper carry lane. Now, both ADCs here scale very well into late game. All eyes are going to be on them, and we do see the Zoe as well. Having that Ezreal mid is actually pretty interesting against Zoe, because we haven't really seen many Ezreals in the mid lane, and secondly, Ezreal, you know, is a pretty decent pick in the mid lane, does have a great escape, and is very safe against skill shot heavy champions like the Zoe. But, you know, I guess that's why they pick Kog'Maw, to kind of compensate with that mixed damage. That's another thing about Ezreal mid, is that you're kind of hesitant about picking Ezreal, because you're very squishy, and if they pick an assassin, your wave management has to be really good to win that lane. But second of all, it's just like, it feels like as an AD carry champion and as a marksman, it is very hard to make plays by yourself. So there are a lot of other mid lane options, or that are traditional mid laners, that most players would prefer. But, you know, I haven't seen these teams in action yet, so maybe they have something up their sleeves with this Ezreal mid. Also, great idea as well, having that Ezreal as a secondary carry in case they need to invest too much resources into dealing with that Kog'Maw. Of course, Israel also scaling very well into the late game. This game looks like just going to have a huge amount of damage coming from the Kindred, the Tristana, the Zoe, and the Israel, and the Kog'Maw. So we'll have to see how these teams play around these marksman characters. All eyes are going to be on them. You know, Lulu, a very great pick to kind of throw off that engage, to, you know, just to keep people alive and prevent them from being caught out, or at least make it a lot harder. Of course, you have a lot of catch potential with the Nautilus hook and the Zoe bubbles. Yeah, hope everyone's having a great night. Hope everyone's had their dinner, and you know, it's been great, and I hope everyone enjoys these games. They are doing a best of 3, so hopefully we will have a tight match between these two teams, so that we have, you know, we can go back and forth a bit and have a lot to talk about, and more importantly, we get to cast more games. But yeah, it's great to see how there are a lot more people that are, you know, actively doing these kind of scrims right now, especially back in the day, like in 2014. Yeah, about 2014 to 2015. That's when it really kind of started to pick off, in terms of the oceanic scene. Anyway, when I was playing in 2013 and 2014, it was very rare to have these kind of matches, unless you know, you're a challenger team and you are really trying to go for your regional leagues like the OPL and like the LCSs. So, you know, it's great that even though these guys aren't at that level, and they're very far from being in any challenger league, it's great to see that they're still able to get these games, and there are organizations out there to help them out and organize this for them, because esports in Oceania is very much still in its infancy, guys. And although Australia is starting to get there, and they do have like stadiums, and they are starting to have, you know, just a more developed infrastructure for this. It is still an ongoing thing, especially compared to the other bigger regions like NA and EU. But it's good that people are starting to flow into the industry. They're kind of recognizing it slowly and slowly. Of course, it's not anything mainstream by a long shot, but you know, it's very assuring, I guess, to kind of see it grow. A lot of people say like, oh yeah, it's a sport, it's not an actual sport, it's not a physical sport, and a lot of things that people actually are unable to see that make this an actual sport. But you got to remember that actual sports has been in development for like centuries, so of course they're gonna, you know, be more established and have more around it. I mean, if you think about it, if you give esports like another, I don't know, 200 years, like something like football, yeah, it's probably a couple hundred years old by now. So if you have esports, give esports a couple hundred years, and who knows where that will go. Now, we are into the game, guys. Welcome here. This is the beginning of tonight's best of 3 between Era White and Resilience Esports, with Era White on the blue side. Now we do see kind of like a, oh, maybe they're looking for like a invade here onto the top side. So do see a
30 seconds until
like a 5-man defense down there from the side of Era, but both teams' ideas currently on the opposite side of this map. Now, Crucial Vision going in here with the deep ward by Foreigner on this Kindred. It's going to give him crucial information to where Duco starts, and gonna see how he paths. Kindred, of course, a champion that kind of have to constantly optimize your pathing to get your stacks for your passive, to get those camps. You know, because of that, that's a very underrated skill that needs to be developed on that champion.
Choose now, my arrows.
Pretty standard start from the side of Era, with a Duco starting on that red bubble. Now, bot lane. All eyes are on the bot lane. These AD carriers and how the team are going to play around them in team fights are going to be absolutely huge to winning these games. As you do see the mid lane, Israel kind of losing a bit out on that push there. It does take a bit of a slower clear because, you know, having that Karma not as strong of a leash as on the bot lane. Karma actually is being taken top. We haven't seen Karma top in quite a long time. So, not sure if we're going to see the usual Frostfire Gauntlet tank Karma top like we did back in the day. Zoe as well, very odd pick. I would assume it's a very player-specific pick as well. One of those champions that you don't really kind of want to risk, I guess, because it is a very high-risk, high-reward champion. So you don't really want to have someone that isn't, you know, a Zoe player to pilot that champion. Karma is able to get this push here with her range advantage over the Ornn and Pyropat. Just gonna have to let the lane push and bounce back and farm the wave until he is tanky enough to withstand the poke. You see Tyrannosaurus does go in with the root, lands a nice chunk of damage there. Pyropat be poked down a little bit. Of course, that Aerie adding a bit to that damage as well. Now, Pyropat, very crucial for him to kind of just stay healthy here before, you know, this wave crashes, because he really needs to pick this farm up in order to stay in this lane against this range matchup. As we do see a gank gonna be attempted top by Duco, not quite finding anything there. However, though, gonna happily take this scuttle to deny the Kindred mark. Now Tyrannosaurus does contest this very dangerous move, as the jungler's not even on his side of the map. Of course, we do see action going down, the sneak coming down on Qwerty on this Ezreal. A bit pushed up there. Of course, Duco going to try and save the day, but he is outnumbered. It is a 3v1. The root is in range. That's going to go through. And Blank on the Zoe is going to pick up a kill along with Foreigner. Now, a bit of extended there. Of course, you know, Ezreal having that AD is able to kind of harass a lot more and be a bit stronger in those extended trades. Was just a bit pushed up there without too much vision. Gonna be taken down for the time being, however, all's not lost. One death isn't too big of a deal at this point in the game, as he is able to make his way back to lane and already half helping Blank here. Blank still hasn't recalled, didn't take his opportunity to recall, so that one kill that he got actually doesn't quite matter until he's able to use that gold to get those items out. Tyrannosaurus is a bit out of mana though, does go for the poke. Strike Breaker does go for in the mid lane from Blank as the bubble lands. And here comes Foreigner again, right to the mid lane. Is this a camp or what? He's gonna go in with the flashes, and oh, Corky's is gonna be down again. Oh man, just a very awkward pathing as well. You know, Corky on the schedule could have never guessed that bubble does land on Duco on this. Gragas TP does come through for the follow-up from Tyrannosaurus. He's going to go and engage with this root dredge line. It's going to connect with the chain CC, and that is going to be Duco going down. Blank is on 1 HP, letting his teammates bail him out of that one. Oh man, that is just a very rough start for Era White. However, it is still not too late. They are still looking for this kill though. Resilience Esports playing very aggressive in the jungle, as you know, as they should. Cookie not having any choice but to just play safe here. Blank is going to be able to recall safely with his teammates next to him. Having that really too deft. Isn't too big of a deal. As you can see, he's still kind of keeping up on CS, even though he's a little bit ahead at the moment. Blank not being able to take that recall timing. However, though, Foreigner is able to secure the first dragon of the game. Now, we do see, Foreigner, he is going to take this scuttle as well. So very strong bottom side control there with the double pink wards too. Qwerty on his Israel, of course, can't exactly blame him for that second death, because that was a very awkward pathing and a very aggressive, side of the lane that Foreigner came from. Looping all the way behind, but he did have wards on the top side, so on paper he should be hugging the top side, which meant that he could have actually escaped from that. This is Tyrannosaurus gonna poke down Pirate Pat a little bit here, but Pirate Pat very healthy at this point, not too fussed about it, just gonna let this wave push and collect the farm. Of course, he's not doing too bad himself, able to keep up in CS against a ranged matchup. Okay, now Pink Woods are going to be clear. They're going to take some vision back into this bot side. Now, we did say that bot lane is going to be crucial on how these hyper carries are going to play and how they're going to scale into this mid to late game. Now, of course, Tristana as a more mobile and has that higher burst and, of course, has that AoE, is going to be able to push the lane a lot more and a lot more naturally than Cogmore is able to. However, not seeing too much jungle action towards that side of the map. Now, things are going down onto the top side. Looks like they want to set up a dive on Pirate Pat over here. Pirate Pat does have a minion wave, half a minion wave to deal with up there. So we're going to see how they're going to do it. This minion wave is going to die. The Mantra Q does not land. However, the bubble does. Pirate Pat is going to get out of that one. As you see, they don't have minion waves with Pirate Pat taking the worst end of the trade there. He's losing HP, which is crucial to him staying alive there. Now, the rest of Resilient Esports is going to go on Pirate Pat, very desperate. He's going to use the horn to keep Tyrannosaurus at bay. Tyrannosaurus is going to keep that root, and 4 members in that top lane is going to be enough to take down Pirate Pat. Very proactive rotation here, of course. Not expecting the Nautilus as well from now to be in this side of the map. So they are going to have a strong control in this part of the map. We're able to do Skull, however, looks like Qwerty is going to be caught out a little bit. Has that cleanse, but Dredge Line does connect. True Shot Barrage is not going to come out. TP coming from Pirate Pat. Pirate Pat is back in the fight. It is a 2v4. All the AoE from Pirate Pat. That is big chunks of damage. No, not much follow-up. The Juko instantly gets chunked by the Zoe. Foreigner is going to take a tower shot for that, but that is worth, because Juko is going to go down, and it looks like they're going to move on to the Rift. Pirate Pat almost had something going on there. Oh man, those flames. They actually, that AoE damage with the members of Resilience, that's just nasty, but not quite enough damage at this point in the game to do anything too spectacular. So Rift here will go to the side of Resilience. They'll happily take that to look for a break on one of those first towers. As you do see, Wild now is up on the top. Bot lane of Arrow White is able to establish lane control in this 2v1. And Cogmore able to have a CS lead slightly over this Tristana. However, Tristana might have this caught up by the time she's done with this wave. So good job playing safe from Lawrence. Not getting caught out there. Of course, Lulu also not having too much catch potential herself. Now, 4-0 on Foreigner on this Kindred. So he should be feeling really strong right now. Also having the Berserker Greaves, given that extra attack speed is actually very important for that champion, especially for the E ability. However, looks like Qwerty might be in a bit of trouble here. Is he going to try and catch him out? Foreigner is going to leap over the wall. Qwerty just going to arcane shift away. And this is Israel. See Pirate Pat going to go for that knockup. Grasp Prot actually takes a favorable trade against Tyrannosaurus. Tyrannosaurus not being able to retaliate any damage through those minions. Pirate Pat is actually doing very well for himself. However, The sleep does go on Duco. Duco, the HP, the Zoe damage is just so huge. That's going to chunk Duco, and Duco is just going to get finished off by Foreigner here. 5-0 now on this Kindred. You see Dredgeline landing down in this bot lane. Don't gank me. Looks like he might be getting ganked right now. There are 4 people on this side of the map from Resilience Esports. It looks like they are just going to back off and do the safer objective to take this Cloud Dragon. Of course, Cloud Dragon, very important on champions like Zoe and Tristana and Kindred. Especially Kindred having that massive cooldown on her ultimate. Of course, we do see a 3-man gank here on Qwerty. Might be a bit caught up there. Arcane Shift is already used. Bubble is land. I don't think he has any escape now. Lawrence is just going to rocket jump in. He's just going to have that bomb on him and just auto attack away. Buster Shot for the extra CC to secure the kill. And Qwerty not quite being able to get out of that one. Does have flash available, but decides not to, I guess, decides to save it for a later situation, as he didn't think he could get out of that one. Duco's going to try and make another play here. Tyrannosaurus is a little bit extended now. Horn is going to get that knock up in. Oh, the cask is going to land, but the flash from Tyrannosaurus actually is going to be able to get him out of that one, along with the momentum. Shelly does go down the mid, taking down the first turret of the game. And having that flame gold. Man, these Zoe bubbles are landing left, right, and center. Duco is going to get hit by that one. That is just massive damage from the Zoe Pirate Pet. He wants vengeance, so he wants to avenge his teammate. He's going to go in. He is getting chunked, though. Lulu knockup does go through. Kindred is going to stay alive. And the Lulu Slow not quite making it. And they are going to make it out. Resilience Esports actually getting away with that. They're going to be very happy with that one. 6-0 on this Kindred. She is going to be scaling very well. Of course, having 1,800 gold in her pocket, able to buy her mythic item next recall. She's going to take a bit of poke there. Nothing too serious. He's not going to be too fussed about that. You see a potential play going to be aimed at Snocky here. Zoe hovers. It is watered though. They do know that she is recalling. Moving artillery is going to interrupt that. There comes the glitter lance for the slow. But now it's going to be there for the backup, and they are going to realize this is a 3v2. So they're not going to make anything off that one. Now we do see Foreigner and Duco kind of contesting that blue buff up in that top side. Of course, teammates are going to come in as backup knockup goes on Tyrannosaurus. However, Foreigner is just auto-attacking away. Oh, the body slam lands, get that CC, instantly gets chunked the moment that CC lands. Foreigner realizing that he's still an ADC, he can't really tank or take a lot of things and make a lot of plays by himself. Duco is going to come in with another body slam, gets that shutdown, 900 gold, that's going to be huge. Dredgeline is going to try and make him pay for it though, and he is going to go down to blank. Oh, depth charge is going to go on Qwerty, has to flash over the wall. Arcane shifts into his base for safety. Now, Duco 1-6, but did get the 900 gold shutdown, so he is not completely over yet. Because Foreigner gonna go for this Gale Force. Having that extra mobility, the extra dash, and of course the execute damage, just gonna snowball, gonna help snowball his lead quite a lot further. So Pirate Pack just doing one thing, just safely farming up top. Don't worry about that. Or the bubble does land on Don't Gank Me. But looks like he'll be safe for the time being, as Resilience Esports decide not to follow up on that one. Well, do you see the map slowly being taken away from Era White? Of course, that mid tower is just so important. Having that down means that it is very risky to push anywhere that far up, which means that your rotations, you will always have to take the long way. You're not going to be a bit behind on tempo because of that. You do see Snocky, he's just going to be happily farming away here, not contested at all. See, Foreigner is a bit of aggressive positioning there. The turret is down from Arrow White. Now, Duco actually coming back with a decent amount of damage, but Foreigner is just too ahead, has that Dirk and has that Gale Force to kind of outmaneuver him and secure the kill right there. Because Duco are having a rough game right now. Does have that Proto Belt to help him make more outplays as well. So it is not completely over for him yet. Ruggers, as you see there, can still kill this Foreigner on this Kindred. Still has that damage, especially when that body slam lands. As well as is going to take down this outer turret. And as you see the map slowly falling apart towards the mid game for Era White. They are going to look for the stroke position. Oh my god, Bubble does land on Snocky. Snocky on this Cosmo, very squishy. Is going to get half HP. However, Zoe not quite enough damage at this point in the game yet to get that one shot. Does opt for that Wits End to help with that as well. As you do see a 3-man dive on Don't Gank Me all by himself in that bot lane is going to go down. Wild Growth is not quite enough to keep him alive in that one. Maybe a bit of a miscommunication there to have him stay. So nobody was really around. Now looks like they are going to get this Inferno Dragon, and when they do, Resilience will be on Soul Point. As you see, Qwerty a bit dicey here, of course. Might eat a Dredge line soon. Does get a nice chunk of damage. Duco is going to come in. Body Slam, not quite connecting the explosive cast, so it gets him back into the barrel. Beautifully played. However, there's not enough damage. Duco with the rocket belt. He's going to go with the second barrel, and that's going to be enough to take down Blank. Another shutdown for Duco. He is actually coming back into this game. Beautiful Gragas mechanics there, of course. Despite the Body Slam missing, having that cast knock Blank back into one of his barrels is quite impressive. They are going to take Rift off that one. Having 5 members though does mean that Resilience is shoving bot. Now Arcade Shift is used. Very dangerous, by the way. This is a 2v5. Very dangerous. Does steal the Rift from Foreigner. Flashes over the wall. Is he going to make it out? Two-Shot Barrage does clean him up. Ran out of dashes after using Flash Q and Gale Force. Now Resilience is going to keep pushing this bot lane, recognizing that 5 people are on the top side, and that is an inhibitor exposed in 1745. Now the split push threat is not too big actually. Resilience don't really have that many champions that can split push very well, except for Tristana, but you really want Tristana to be in these fights and to be, you know, dealing your damage in the skirmishes. So nothing too threatening as of yet. Now Duco does use that rocket belt to slow down the recall a little bit. Not going to commit to anything. This pink ward from the side of Resilience is so good. Is actually not going to get spotted. And man, that vision is going to be very, very valuable to spot out any rotations on the bot side. Let's see, Snocky just going to continue farming, as you should, to be scaling on this map. Looks like you might go for that tank culpable. However, Dredge line does land on Don't Gank Me in a bit of a dicey situation. However, does have his teammates to back him up should he need so. Oh my god, flash from Duco. He's going to go in depth charge, not quite doing much there. Now looks like he might be getting caught up, but cast, great CC, just for the extra couple of seconds. It looks like they are going to make it out with the Karma Shield. Oh my god, the Mantra Q does so much damage. It's going to kill Don't Gank Me. Of course, Qwerty going to try and take down Foreigner. Foreigner just so much damage. Of course, having that triumph as well to keep him alive after the first kill. You do see them going to blast cone over this wall and uses Rift Crowd. The Dredge line does connect on Duco. Duco has the body slam away. Shelly is ready to take this mid tower and is ready to expose the second inhib of the game. Look at that damage. That tower is just going to melt, and so is this inhib. Era White has no choice but to watch it go down, as it can't really go anywhere else right now. They're going to rotate to the second one in the bottom lane. 5 members from Resilience grouping together on these objectives, and clean getaway. And this is what we were talking about with these teams not overstaying and just having a decisive decision to just, hey, we're going to take this, we're going to use our Rift Hero here, and we're taking these objectives, and once we take these objectives, we're leaving. Or however, can they leave though, as the recalls are coming through. Duco is going to have that rocket belt to interrupt a couple of them. He's going to get slipped though, body slams over the wall. Can that save him? Flash of from Lawrence is going to kill him. The Horn does only knock up one. That will be Foreigner. He is still safe. Carapat forced to run away. Two-shot barrage hits 3 people, but not doing too much. Mystic shots are coming through from Qwerty on this Ezreal. Has to blast cone back into the base, as the damage is not quite there yet from Era White. Now Resilience says, oh my god, you interrupted our recall? We don't care. We're just going to take Baron. And it looks like they're going to go for Baron because the 2 inhibs are down for Era White, and so is Duco. So not having that jungler to contest with the smite and having those lanes just automatically push into your base is going to be very hard. for you to do anything about this Baron. So this Baron will surely go to the side of Resilience Esports, and they are definitely going to take that reset with that Baron recall. Going to be very happy with that, of course. Foreigner 10-2, having this collector now. Looks like he's going to go for that rapid fire cannon for that extra range next. Very strong, having an 11k gold lead over Arrow White from the side of Resilience Esports. Now, looks like Dragon is going to be the next objective. Just going to clear towards that. Now, the gold difference is actually relative, because the gold difference is strongest when it's really focused on one person. Or, I should say, the more focused it is, the stronger the more that gold lead means. And right now, as we can see right here, you know, a lot of that gold lead is actually onto Foreigner on this Kindred, of course, having 10 kills as well. And, you know, this Kindred is going to be running rampant, dealing so much damage to this Dragon. Is easily going to be able to take this down. Meanwhile, Arrow White is just too busy having to deal with these super minions at this point in the game. Now, Resilience does have the Baron buff. They are going to walk these minions in. The inhibs are still down. They're going to be looking for a catch here to end. Now, Mantra Shields do go through. Nothing quite happening. Oh, the bubble does land though. However, it is Pirate Pet. Juko going to go in. Wild Group not going to be enough to keep him alive. That is a delete all one. Oh my god, the Dredge Line interrupts the Horn. That is actually going to be huge. And nobody except for now is down inside of Resilience. Oh my god, that's Zoe doing so much damage to Israel. He is going to have to go back to base for the time being. These Baron minions are going to take down these turrets. First Nexus turret, second Nexus turret. They're focusing on the Nexus. Resilience Esports are looking to end this game. No, they're not. They're actually looking for kills. They're going to go straight into the base. But the Nexus does get killed by these super minions. GG from both teams. Resilience Esports takes the win on that one. Yeah, we saw, you know, especially in this, I think the state of this game right now, skirmishing is a very important skill that players and teams need to play around. You know, they just decide so much of the game. And as we see there, it was just skirmishes that kind of decided the mid game as well. Having, of course, Foreigner did get ahead from those two ganks. Yeah, on the mid lane, having that early camp. Of course, Hawkeye there, Israel, not quite realizing that you know, he's gonna come again, because usually when junglers gank you, they just want to reset, take that gold lead, and you know, come back afterwards. So that gives you a bit of time to breathe. But Foreigner didn't quite do that. He just went straight back into the mid lane, getting those early 2 kills. Of course, you know, very, very aggressive jungle pathing, and you don't really expect Kindred as one of those champions that can, or that are gank heavy. So, you know, beautifully played by Resilience, being able to snowball that lead. Of course, that Kindred is, following on that Kindred is what did get himself into a couple of dicey situations there, having to, you know, having to rely eventually on the Triumph and the heals and just the base stats of the fact that he's ahead to stay alive. Of course, Juko on that Gragas tried really hard to make a comeback in this game. He did show off some pretty solid Gragas mechanics there, bouncing people between those barrels, and actually still does a lot of damage despite being behind, but not quite finding the map control and just kind of losing tempo there. Now, we did see the map as well being slowly choked out. Of course, that skirmish up in that blue buff on the side of Arrow White did have Foreigner come up on top there, and they were able to take the rift, and having that rift to crack down that mid turret and to get those deep wards in, and to just play around that ward line and that aggressive, what I like to call the rotation line, is able to just kind of slowly choke Errol White out of the game. So great job by Resilience. Now the teams are going to have a quick review with their coaches, so they will be back very, very soon. Of course, this is a scrim, so I don't know what the goals of these two teams are, but usually in scrims, there's always a goal, and you never really just play a scrim just to verse each other. Like, there's always like a alternative, or I would say even like a primary goal to that, on top of playing against the other team. And for scrims, you would have goals like, for example, for this scrim or for tonight, we want to practice X setup. We want to practice, picking a strong mid laner or picking a strong wave clear pushing mid laner, and then picking an aggressive gank heavy jungler, and then we're gonna dive top early, or having setups like, we're going to pick X and Y to focus on Z part of the map, and then we're gonna do this at 20 minutes or something. There's always like a setup that teams would like to practice, or even something less complicated. Like for tonight, we want to practice this style of comp. We want to learn how to play a catch comp, because we always play all-in and split push comps. So we want to learn how to play a catch comp, or we want to learn how to play team fight comps. So then there's more skill to our you're adding more skills to your arsenal, and B, you learn more about how to play against those comps if you lose as those comps. So yeah, the point is that for scrims, there's always usually another goal, and you never really scrim to just for the sake of playing each other, unless it's I don't know, just before a tournament or something. And even so, there are rules in certain tournaments. For example, once you get to the bigger tournaments like MSI, or just Worlds, they will have rules where if your team, or if two teams are in the same bracket, or if they're in the same group, they're actually not allowed to scrim against each other. So, there are certain rules around that. But I'm not quite sure what the goals of these two teams are for tonight. But it does seem like that Resilience does have a pretty strong start right now. See if there's any momentum they can kind of carry through to the next game, or will Errol White be able to come back after the short session with the coach and bring this best of 3 to a tie. We do see the teams having their lobbies going to be set up now. So we are going to get into this relatively soon. Now they say that that people, or that momentum, is actually a very big deal, and in the best of 3, it's actually a very short series, because each team only has to win 2 games. So if you lose one, it's actually depends on the players, of course, but usually it's actually not too hard to kind of just take a soft reset and just play the second game as you would. Whereas in a longer series, like a best of 5, when you get to game 2, game 3, that's where it really matters, and that's where the momentum really carries through. Because once a team wins 2 games, especially when they do back-to-back, then the pressure is really riding on you, and you do have a lot of things to think about as a player. For example, maybe in those 2 games, you've tried something different, and neither of them worked because you lost those 2 games. And then this game is a make it or break it game, because if you lose this game, you're out of the series. And this is when you start thinking about a lot of things. You start thinking about, oh, okay, should I just stick to what I'm doing? Oh, but I've already done different things. And then you start flustering yourself. Like, oh, what's wrong with me today? Like, what can I do? Is there something that I can do? Is maybe it's the way I'm sitting. And then you start thinking about a lot of different things, and that's when it starts adding up, and that's when your brain gets flustered. And that's one of the reasons why you see that most teams, once they win the first 2 games in a best of 5 series, they're actually very likely to take the entire series, because the team that lost those first 2 games, they're actually very flustered, and they have a lot more going in their heads. So yeah, that's a little talk about momentum. Hope everyone is enjoying the game so far. Nothing too crazy. It is a bit of a clean game from the side of Resilience to start off with, so very strong start. Wonder what the coach has to say for Era White, because they did take a short break, and we are going to see in a bit if they have any ideas going in, and if they're going to have anything that they need and they want to execute for game number 2. Of course, picking Israel mid lane did have a bit of the right idea, but really lost that for this player called Qwerty. Is I guess his failing to jungle track Foreigner on that Kindred. Of course, being caught out the first time is kind of normal. Things like that do happen, and just dying once isn't too big of a deal. But that second gank, I think, although that Foreigner's pathing was very aggressive, and just coming from next to that Raptor camp, it's just very unexpected. That Qwerty should have just hugged the top side anyway, because after all, that's where his wards were. And as a general rule, if you're playing mid lane and you have one side warded, you generally want to hug that side, because A, it's warded, so you can see it, so you're not afraid to stay close to that side. And B, if they do come from the other side and you didn't see that, then that actually gives you more distance to work with, and you're more likely to escape. So hugging the right side, or the correct side of the lane, is a very underrated concept that I actually don't see enough from players, especially my clients. And a couple of things that I do, one of the things that I do say the most is when you jungle track, you don't have to know exactly where the jungle is. Just start by being very broad and be very general. Like, is there jungle top side or bottom side? That's it. Let's just start with that. And for the people that are learning, or that are trying to practice their jungle tracking, that's all there is. Just start doing that to begin. Well, it's not all there is. I should take the words back on that one. But that's all you need to start jungle tracking. Are they top side or are they bot side? At the start of the game, did their bot lane come late? Okay, their jungler probably started bottom side, and then 2 to 2.5 minutes later, they're probably in the top side. And then after like about 3.5 to 4 minutes, they're probably going to repath back to bot side. You don't need to know which camp they're at least not yet. You just got to guess which side of the map they're on, and just ward that side of the map, and then hug the side that you warded. Because if they do come from you on that side, it's warded anyway, and you do see them coming, you know, pretty early on. But if they don't come from that side, then again, you have that distance to work with and to escape those ganks. So, you know, for people that are learning how to jungle track, or for people that are getting angry in solo queue because they're just constantly dying to ganks, you know, start doing that. Yeah, one thing that you can start giving a go. Of course, you know, thank you to the players on these both teams having pretty good sportsmanship. And actually very well representing the amateur scene here, and I think a lot of the players in this scene should have this kind of sportsmanship. Because you'd be surprised that a lot of players actually don't. So props to these players here, being very professional about this scrim. Of course, Era being a semi-established organization as well, having it's in league, I should say, having multiple teams. Of course, White being kind of like the academy team, with Black being their main team that they like to play open ladders with. Now, Era is a bit more established in Rocket League, so you can go check them out on Rocket League if anybody is a fan of that. But yeah, under an established organization, the players should have rules that they need to uphold to represent the organization that they're for. So, you know, great sportsmanship, guys, and yeah, keep it up. Now, as you do see the players are popping into the lobby, they're just gonna start assigning themselves in order. So hopefully should be a couple minutes before we hop into the champion select. Also, for anyone that likes to watch these kinds of games, or you know, just amateur games, really, I actually advise them to go take a look at events like Iron to Golds and Iron to Plats if you're not already, because there are a lot of teams that are like this, and these guys, they actually, I would say, they're definitely at the top of the line of the bunch. There are a lot more messy teams, I should say, for lack of a better word, in those Iron to Gold and Iron to Plat tournaments. But a very clean game from the side of resilience there. Things that you don't usually see in those tournaments. So, you know, especially if you are trying to, you know, learn from team games and you're just starting out, and you're just kind of, yeah, you're just starting out to dip yourself in this team-based environment. You know, those tournaments are a very good place to start. Now we do see the lobbies filled, so we are going to get into Champ Select very, very soon. Players are ready. Here we go, right into the Champion Select. Now, will we see any bans coming through, you know, because of last game? Will we see champions like Kindred getting taken away? Although I didn't think that they lost because of the champions they picked. I do think the Era White lost because, you know, of their inability to, well, not their inability, but they're not quite, how should I say, readiness to skirmish, or skirmish on their own terms. So, of course, it's going to be a bit awkward there Of course, these graphics are a bit switched around. The teams did swap sides, so Aero White is on the red side, Resilience on the blue side now. We'll see these picks do come through now. Jace, a champion that we don't quite see that often at all nowadays. So it's great to see a champion like that. However, if it is Jace top, which it looks like it is, he is going against Pirate Pet on that Ornn again. So it's going to be a bit of a rough matchup as he will get outscaled eventually. Very quick champ select as these guys are very going through. Of course, Diana, very good flex pick, actually decides to opt for the Diana jungle. Of course, having that heavy AP and a very mixed damage on the side of Aero White this game from that red side. Now Ari as well being taken, which is one of the champions that were banned in the last game. Very solid champion and very well-rounded champion, I should say. Lawrence does opt to take for that Tristana again. I bloody hate that character, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, Kaiser going to be taken on the side of Snocky. That's going to be the other hyper carry that he would go for. So Kaiser, of course, being one of the strongest champions right now, but however not quite having the ability to stack up to Tristana in terms of the laning phase and in terms of the range later on in those team fights. So it's going to be kind of rough for Snocky on this Kaiser to play these team fights. But having said that though, does have Duco on that Diana to kind of proc that passive for the Kaiser to go in with the killer instinct. So we'll see how they play with that. The synergy between those players are going to be absolutely crucial. Of course, a lot of CC on the side of Aero White to kind of set things up for Snocky as well. You have the Ornn knockup, Diana knockup, Syndra stuns, and of course Nautilus being the most heavily CC focused champion in this game. Now, a bit more of a peel composition going on this time to the side of Resilience Esports, which is actually on the blue side, by the way. And of course, Tristana already having that peel for herself. You know, on top of that, you have that black shield and you have that Braum as well. Just having that shield and the stuns to keep the enemies at bay. Ari, of course, as well can play catch and peel too. So I think that Resilience this game are definitely looking to play around their Tristana. I'm just in to see what the coach is giving them tips about on the side of Era. As we do see a lot of champions that are very, very good at skirmishing. Of course, Diana, very strong champion in both the mid lane and the jungle. Having a lot of burst damage and CC to follow through once she gets that ultimate. Syndra as well, very strong skirmishing champion as she can just instantly delete people after a potential multi-man stun. So mid lane, in this mid lane match, I think wave management is going to be huge to determine who has priority and how these junglers are going to play around that priority. Now Morgana jungle is going to make another appearance, so we'll see how that will go. She is kind of nerfed a little bit, that tormented soil not quite doing as much damage as before. So you know, her clear speed is going to be impacted, of course, and it is a bit slower. People did pick Morgana jungle because of that buff and because she had that clear speed. However, Morgana ganks do rely on either teammate setup or, you know, having that position to easily land the dark binding. So we'll see how that will play out. Now both these teams, of course, player wise, They're definitely about even. They're pretty even across the board, except for, you know, maybe the Diamond 1 players. But you know, it is quite a high level game, and if you think about it, statistically speaking, these are about the top 2% of the player base. So you guys are getting some quality gameplay here compared to the average Joe. But yeah, 5 minutes. The coach from the side of Era only had about 5 to 10 minutes to talk to their team about that, so which is pretty short actually, because generally in tournaments you do have at least about 15 to 20 minutes between games to talk to your team as a coach. 5 to 10 is rather short, so we are going to see what they're going to try and do differently this time. Now, do hop into this game with this time with Era White being on the red side. Resilience is now going to be on this blue side. Now Morgana, very different jungle to Kindred this time. So playstyle is quite different, and she has to, you know, possibly not play as aggressively, not having the ability to dash and not having that ultimate to keep them alive. You do see a pixel bush control here. See where the teams are. See, you know, Resilience. It seems like they really like to take control of this top side, as we do see them kind of wrapping around this red buff, possibly getting at least a deep ward in. See, they don't find anything here, so they are going to take this recall. However, just might find a friend here on his way out. So Qwerty not going to face check that. Should be somewhat aware that they're here. Now, this is a very odd, because 3 members from Resilience are going to stay in this red side jungle, and that means they are going to look to take this red camp to begin with. Now, Pirate Pat is going to face check, looks right into Tyrannosaurus Rex. He's going to go in with the hammer. Pirate Pat forced to charge out of there. He is 1 HP, flashes are up. He is going to use that to get out of it. Tyrannosaurus not quite going to make this chase. However, Juko is ready in case Foreigner does start this camp, which he does not. And, looks like he will start his Raptors. Juko is going to find him though, going to try and push him off of it. The mid lane there, Qwerty is closer, so he is able to get into the fight. It is level 1, so all these players only have one ability, not fight the CC following through. Of course, Foreigner having to take that tormented soil first. Not having that dark binding is going to make those invades a lot weaker. And looks like he's actually staying there to kind of contest his red buff. Juko not quite knowing he's there, but he's in the bush, and there he is. He's going to face check it, walks right in. There's a bit of a dicey one as he has 1 HP. The passive comes through, and the shield, the smite with the HP. The red buff is very low. Juko picks up the red buff. He's going to have that damage. However, charm does land. Flash over the wall is not going to be enough. Qwerty tries to break up that kill with that flash. However, it's not quite enough there. A bit of questionable cleanse. Blank is just going to keep on auto-attacking this, and Tyrannosaurus comes back to take that Q, take that kill with that Q, and that is going to go in the favor of Resilience. Again, these early skirmishes are really, they're just really flustering Era Whites. They're kind of not quite sure how to cleanly play against that. Being a bit messy here in the early game. Jason, of course, having that range, he's going to be able to bully Pirate Pat a little bit once again. Now, as you do see an invade now, and to Juko again from the bot lane. Juko is just getting invaded by everyone. Don't gank me. Is here with the dredge line, does connect. So the Crescent Strike also with the follow through. However, no follow up yet. Oh, Snocky is a little bit in trouble that he is singled out. Has to flash over the wall. You see Blank on the land with the charm. He is out of mana though. Is there any follow-up? Yes, there is in the form of Dark Binding, Tormented Soil. Lawrence is going to pick up that pick after that rocket jump. And that is a early kill for Tristana. That is not what you want if you're playing Kai'Sa. And Tristana having that early lead. So, you know, she's already a hard matchup, so something that you're really going to struggle with later on once she gets those item advantages. It does have the bigger wave though, however, does have an HP disadvantage here. Oh, look at that, these auto attacks and the bombs coming in. She started having that outrange. Oh my god, the shield though, and the bomb from this now kind of turning things around here. Of course, Foreigner's going to be here to have that extra backup. They don't really quite have enough damage for Don't Gank Me yet. The Dark Covers come through, so does the Drench Line. Oh my god, the 1 HP! Don't Gank Me actually picks up that kill here. That is completely unexpected. Now the bomb isn't quite enough to kill anybody here. However, they are very low on the side of Arrow Whites. Their bot lane is very, very low. Now it's definitely going to be looking for something here. Lawrence also really low. Drench Line does connect on now. Has that shield to keep him up a little bit. They are going to be whittled down one by one. Oh, however, there, oh my god, there's the invade. Juko, the counter invade, trying to get that top side. And this bot lane is so dicey right now. They just have so many minions crashing into the side of Arrow White. They have to stay away from that bomb from the turret covering such a huge area. Going to get this plating, so they are going to take the favorable end of that. And this game was definitely a lot more action-packed than last game. Of course, Arrow White trying to pick it up a bit and turning things up a notch. You know, that's probably what they went through with the coach, you know. It's like, yes, like last game, you guys just got choked out. And this game, we want to see you be more proactive and we want to see people making more plays. And the Arrow White definitely trying to look for more opportunities in the form of these counter invades and with this Nautilus as well. Do you see the mid lane gonna get pushed in a little bit? Because Ari having that push. Qwerty on the Syndra. Looks for that roam after that push actually, so they are gonna look for a dive. There is a ward to spot him out early, so they do know that he's there. Is that early enough though? Do they have enough time to escape from this? He's sitting patiently in the bush, however all the rest of Arrow White is rotating down. That is a numbers disadvantage. Looks like Resilience Esports. I want to back off of that one. You see players going to go back to their own business. Of course, the Duco going to be clearing his camps once again, with Qwerty trying to push that mid lane. Oh my god, we do see the dragon actually gonna be taken. Are they really doing this at this point in the game? Looks like they are. Foreigner is gonna be there to secure it with that smite, and there it is. That is a fire dragon, infernal dragon. First dragon of the game going towards the side of Resilience Esports. Pirate Pat, bit of the same situation last game, gonna get poked down a little bit at this point in the game. His flash is back up, so he will feel a lot safer. But however, Tyrannosaurus is full HP, and one rotation might be enough to kill him. And oh my god, Blank, he's gonna go for this kill. Spirit Rush is gonna go in. Charm does not need to land. 3 dashes in and out, surviving by 1 tower shot. Of course, Juko is not done yet. He wants to avenge his teammate. Tyrannosaurus is there for the backup. Juko, Crescent Strike misses. That's going to be huge. That's a 2-level disadvantage with his Jace. And Juko not being able to do much here. Tyrannosaurus is going to be happy to just keep the pressure on. However, mid lane though, the gank from the support and the jungler is... Oh, the stun does land from the Born passive, chained with the Dark Binding Tormented Soil as well, with that damage coming through. Oh my god, if there is any more burn, the Syndra would have been dead, but of course everything is so far not too bad. The Dark Binding does miss. They do see them coming. They're all just going to invade this side of the jungle now. Juko having a very rough time to trying to get to his camps. He is level 5 compared to Jason's level 7 as well, and Ari's also level 7. So these junglers are somewhat behind. Of course, Foreigner having those laners and having those stronger solo laners are going to be able to move more freely around the map, especially having this Jace right here actually doing a bit of damage. However, he's getting in a bit closer. Pirate Pet is no slouch when it comes to close range combat. Does take the recoil as well, as he is low on mana. We do see something potentially going to happen top lane again. Foreigner looking for another play on Pirate Pet here. Dark Binding doesn't quite connect. Pirate Pet's just going to go to safety under his tower. Looks like they're really focusing a lot on the top side of this map, just leaving these hyper carries to kind of do their thing in the bot lane. Now, just gonna not really look for anything. He doesn't really have to look for too many risky opportunities here. Just literally start to scale and outrange her counterpart matchup. And you see the TP coming back from Pirate Pat, a bit dangerous as he does know that Foreigner could still be on top side. Tyrannosaurus still hasn't recalled, but will finally take it as he is definitely this time. And he actually goes back with an Eclipse, having a 2-kill lead. A great buy also from Pirate Pat, having that Brambles Vest to kind of mitigate that lifesteal, and of course having that armor to help him survive a little bit longer. Now, do you see the Rift? Very early Rift actually getting taken by Foreigner. He is out of mana though, so we'll kind of see how that goes. Rift looks like will be secured though, very low. He is going to be taken down any minute now. Cemented Soil will do the trick. And there it is, Rift Hero going on to Foreigner on the side of Resilience Esports, going to secure that scuttle as well. Very comfortable. Foreigner's going to have to be feeling very comfortable with that clear now, of course with that blue buff also coming up. And Tyrannosaurus is going to control that vision there on that tri-bush, and that early lead. Shock Blast does go through to kind of push the wave a bit. Obviously Blank does move up though. They might be looking for another play on Pirate Pat here. Is this a repeat of last game or what? They're trying to dive him, but looks like Blank will kind of back up for the time being and go back to his lane. Look at the vision control on the top side from the side of Resilience Esports, of course, having that Rift Herald as well. Just very great map control and having that side just completely to themselves, being able to do whatever they want. Speaking of which, Blank does go into the Spirit Rush. Charm does not quite connect there, but doesn't matter. Damage does go through. Oh my god, Unleashed Power is going to be enough to take him down. Juco is going to be in this duel. This is a jungle duel 1v1. Moonfall does come through. Prison Strike with the Lunar Rush. A second Lunar Rush is going to be able to pick him down, but he's going to take one too many tower shots. They are going to trade 2-4-2 in the midline now. If we look at the wave state here, it's actually a bit favorable for Blank actually, because oh no, it's a bit favorable for Qwerty because the wave is actually going to push back to him. Blank, he's going to miss a bit of that CS. Now the lane does reset actually, so still slightly favorable trade for Qwerty, so that's going to help him get back into this. Of course, taking that cleanse into that Ari to kind of counter that charm. Was despite that charm missing, the Spirit Rush and the Foxfire having enough damage at this point in the game to chunk down any squishy characters. Those both mid laners having that Lost Chapter now. Very comfortable item if you're a control mage. Essentially, you just feel like you have infinite mana. You're very safe mana-wise. Ari and Syndra both very mana-hungry champions and very much need their items. You see the Horn coming through in the top lane. Dragon is being taken though. Meanwhile, Horn not quite doing anything. Juco is going to get spotted by this Vision Ward. You see this might be a 4-man dive onto Arrow White. Dark Binding does land, so there's the Dredge line. Black Shield is going to keep him alive. Charm weaves right past. Don't gank me. That's going to go through. Killer Instinct does dodge a thing or two, but that's not enough to keep him alive. Dredge line towards the wall for safety. He is 1 HP, does have the shield. He's going to flash. And the minions are taking the tower though. Oh, the Dark Binding connects. Dredge line not quite fast enough to get out of that one. 4-man dive is going to be successful from the side of Resilience Esports. Very proactive in these rotations. Juco is going to try and answer that by invading their jungle. Of course, Rift Herald does go down as well in the bot lane to try and secure that tower. And there it is. First tower of the game. Oh, Tyrannosaurus Rex does find him again. 2-level advantage. He's just going to get completely chunked him. Flash for flash. He's going to chase him over the wall. And that's going to be Juco going down. That is very, very tragic for Juco. And it's just Spirit Rush does go through in the mid lane. Blank going to try and find a kill here along with his teammates. Now he is just walking up. He's got that Brawn passive. Where's that first stack? He's going to go the orbs. There's a slow one. Quite sidestep with the Q. Dark Binding. Oh, doesn't connect. Unleashed Power. Not quite enough. Beautiful sidestepping there by Qwerty. But however, that's just not enough to dodge these members from Resilience Esports. Beautiful rotations. Again, very, very proactive having that bot lane cracked and just immediately rotating to the mid to pick something up as well on their way. That is a huge wave that's going to be missed by Qwerty now. Not too big of a deal. It does have a CS advantage. You see now all over the map, running around with his buddy Foreigner. They're gonna try and make a play on Pirate Pet, but Pirate Pet has to burn Flash. The Chin is just gonna keep him alive. Lane's gonna get pushed in, and here it is. Is this where it begins? The towers are falling down. Is this a repeat of last game or what? Everything is gonna start to fall apart, and the map is gonna be slowly choked out from Era White. You see Lawrence is going to be rotated to the mid lane to start working on the last outer turret. Now, of course, there are beautiful side lane rotations and lane assignments from these teams. Of course, having the AD go to the mid lane, being the shortest lane and wanting to seize their tower. However, don't gank me. Looking for something here, will get spotted. Of course, the Lawrence hugging that side of the map as he sees them. Which we're talking about between the two games. Now, a bit of a vision clearing here, just to set up for any potential objectives and skirmishes that are potentially coming up from this side of the map. There's that pink ward that's going to be taken down by now. Don't gank me. Kind of stuck in the mid lane for now, just in case anybody decides to dive Snocky here. Now, they are going to collapse onto Tyrannosaurus, so Tyrannosaurus is safe for the time being. Careful in this up, however, now is going to go in on Qwerty. Qwerty is not going to quite do enough damage to deter him. Now does have his teammate to back him up. Spirit Rush does go through, though, not quite finding anything. That's going to be a crucial cooldown gone by Ari, as that might just get punished by Duco, because Duco is going right in. The cleanse is going to cleanse the charm from Qwerty. Duco is not done. Now dashes over the wall to his teammate Blank. The slow is going to go through. Can Duco catch up? Meanwhile, Dressline into the mid lane is going to catch out Lawrence with that death charge, and his chain CC kills goes over to Snocky. Snocky needs that to get back into the game. As we do see, he is able to get his mythic item Moonstone. He backs, however, Tyrannosaurus Rex is in this mid lane, having that shock blast available. Is gonna land one on Don't Gank Me with the acceleration gate. That's gonna completely chunk Snocky here. Does have that red buff for that health regen, so takes a recall just to be safe, because the tower is gonna go down anyway, and that is a beautiful timing for that, because Dragon is about to spawn. So they're actually gonna be happily taking that tower and hopefully establishing vision as well for this dragon, which they already have, because if we look at the wards on the dragon side of the map, you have your scuttle as well, and very deep pink wards to take control. So you see the pings going down. They already know where Duco is. There's a very good tempo and momentum from the side of Resilience Esports. You see now he is running straight for it. Duco, I don't think Duco knows right now, because now he does, because Don't Get Me facing right into him, has to stretch line to the wall to escape. Horn does go through, gets only one knock up on the now. Duco does go down, now is in there. Oh, Killer Instincts is going to go back, kill Tyrannosaurus. However, Blank is on his face. Charm does land with the Foxfire, is going to be enough to finish him off. And Lawrence is just going to free auto attack Pirate Pat. And that is going to be the team fight in the favor of Resilience Esports again. And they're going to take this dragon off of it. Third dragon of the game. Next dragon will be Soul Points. Also, Foreigner has that Rift Hero, so potentially looking to just kind of bring it down mid lane here. They might look to take this in the turret before doing that, though, just to save more HP on Shelly. However, Duco is looking for a flank here. Dredgeline does go in. This is a 2v3 for the time being. Duco going to be CC'd by the Facial Fisher. However, Foreigner does go down, not being able to use that Rift Hero. The Dredgeline lands on Tyrannosaurus. That's going to chain him up. He's going to try and go in and pick up a kill. Not quite enough damage there. Snocky is going to go back in, punishing the used cooldowns. Oh my god, now goes back in for the Q, but he is going to be stunned. Now Blank is on the run now. Scared of the Weak not quite being off cooldown ready yet, so Blank going to be able to run away from that one. You know, they had the right idea. Resilience Esports, they wanted to use that Rift Hero. Oh, never mind though, because Scatter the Weak is going to go down mid. Not quite enough damage to kill Lawrence. Lawrence is going to pick that kill up. The rush does go through from Blank. Charm's going to land on Pirate Pet. However, that's not going to be enough. Lawrence is going to get taken down. Foxfire is going to kill Don't Gank Me. One more auto attack. There it is. And this is just chaos through to the mid lane. Now, this is the first case that we see of greediness and overstaying from either team. Because, you know, on the side of Resilience, you did take the dragon. And you did win the previous team fight. That is your reward. That is the objective. And that is what you won the fight for. So, but, you know, they wanted more. They wanted to use that Rift Herald mid, and they wanted to crack that mid tower, and of course, very greedy is what. Oh, never mind though, as we see the Dark Binding combined with the Soul Shackles, just going to be able to chain CC Juko. Juko's going to go back in with the help of his teammate. He's going to TP back in, realizing that he's outnumbered. He's going to run away. Red buff is in between the two teams. This is going to be contested. You see now, he's going to be in the front line here, going to try and stun up Pirate Pet. Pirate Pet, he is the tank, not afraid to be in there. Never mind, he dashes out, but he wants to go back in with that horn. Don't Get Me is there with that dredge line ready to go. And Resilience Esports is going to back this one off. Of course, having Tyrannosaurus eventually taking that red buff. You know, back when I was saying before, you know, they did get the dragon, they want to use the Rift Herald mid, which they very well could have. Oh my god, they just keep interrupting me with these plays. The Spirit Rush does go through with the charm, is able to clean up Pirate Pet. Godlike on blank on this Ari. Now they're going to take down Don't Gag Me as well. Lawrence is going to take up that kill. They are just not allowing me to do any color casting today, as they are just finding action back and forth. And looks like they're going to go for this Baron. All 5 members of Resilience Esports, as you see blank does clear vision, so they do know they're doing Baron. The question is, what are they going to do to answer this? Because all these lanes, they're already pushed, and they're at a massive numbers disadvantage. Juko can't really do anything right now. Has the recall on this Diana. Blank is going to walk up, not afraid to zone anyone that goes through. Rift Herald is finally used because its timer is running out. Looks like looks like they are going to go top lane to accompany Shelly and to try and break this top turret, clearing vision along the way. So Shockwave, Shock Blast is going to go through, Scatter the Weak. Nothing to follow up on that one. Oh, the charm does connect. Instant cleanse. Beautiful by Qwerty. Shelly is on the turret though. The turret looks like it's going to go down. Dark Binding on this guy. So very crucial target. That's going to be Chain CC with the Glacial Fissure, and that's going to go. Price is going to go down. Oh, there's a big Dark Binding lands again on Pirate Pet. He's going to get Chain CC by the Brawn passive. More turrets are going to go down from Shelly. The whole map is just falling apart. Lawrence is going to go in with the rocket jump. Does get hooked, but is not afraid because it's only Nautilus. And Resilience Esports is just going to clean this up. Shelly gets another charge in for that Nexus turret. Qwerty has to flash out of the Shock Blast. Does get the sniping in. Beautiful ace. And looks like Resilience Esports, after taking down these Nexus turrets, are going to take down the Nexus. Oh, wow. That was an action-packed game, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, again, it's very similar to Game 1 where Resilience Esports, they took the Rift Herald and they just slowly choked the map from Arrow White. And it's kind of the same thing, really. And what we were trying to say earlier when they won that team fight to take that Mountain Dragon, was that Resilience actually got pretty greedy. They won the team fight, which allowed them to get the dragon, which was the whole point of winning that team fight. And then they decided, you know what, we still have Herald, and we want to use it mid to take even more out of this. So Foreigner does go mid with that Herald, and you know, tries to save it to saves the Shelly for the second turret, or I should say the inhib turret, because they are confident. They were confident that they can take down the inner turret already without Shelly, and that without Shelly ended up taking them too long. So they actually got re-engaged on by by Don't Gank Me with this dredge line and the flank from Juko on this Diana. And of course, then on the other side, Arrow White got greedy straight after that. Qwerty trying to make that play on that Syndra, trying to one-shot, trying to land that one-shot on Lawrence on the Tristana, but not quite having the damage yet. So, and I feel like Syndra, it's like once you're even, like if you're even on that champion, it feels like you never really get to do that damage. So like it never feels like you one-shot anybody unless you're ahead. Because if you're just even, you know, you're not. It just feels like you just don't do anything and you can't do your job because the damage is not there. Whereas if you're ahead, you do have the item advantage and potentially have the level and therefore the stats advantage to one-shot any squishies or any non-tank characters. You know, it is a bit of a tough situation. Syndra also, on top of that, being one of the harder champions to play, mechanically speaking, as well. So, you know, I do like the champion, but it just feels like that she is in a bit of a tough spot as a champion. However, Qwerty, you know, not you know having too bad of a performance on that champion too, does try to make the plays happen, but you know not quite enough, and that's something we do see there. The unleashed power, you know, we never really saw it one-shot it, being able to one-shot anybody, which is essentially what it's made for, and not quite the other use either. And the other use is you just use it with the 3 orbs, and then you use Scatter the Weak on those 3 orbs to get a better stun. So you know, Syndra as a champion, it's being in a bit of a tough spot in that previous game. Now these teams are going to use a pro draft to draft their next match, so we are going to see what they will pick once we get into the actual champ select within the client. Of course, both these players, and you know these players individually are very solid players, but as a team, you can just kind of see that Era White, especially at the beginning as well, kind of getting flustered by these invades and these early skirmishes, and this is what we were talking about earlier when we said that the state of this game right now actually relies a lot on skirmishes, and skirmishing is a very important skill that you need to learn to be able to climb and to be able to win games essentially. So of course we do see, you know, Brazilians picking characters like Jace that are very good at that, Morgana with the dark bindings, of course, being able to chain it with the Braum as well. Braum, I think it's right now is actually quite the underrated champion if you pair it with the correct, or well, I shouldn't say correct, but if you pair it with certain characters. Of course, having that Tristana too, which I assume most people nowadays would take Halo Blades. Being able to stack that Braum passive very quickly for that stun, and on top of that with the bomb, it's just gonna delete enemies. On top of that, CC them. So very, very threatening. Now the junglers that are actually doing really well this patch right now are champions like Xin Zhao, and Xin Zhao, he's a very gank heavy jungler, and I actually think, you know, he's a range champion just because of how far his W gets you and the fact that he can just dash towards you like that. Xin Zhao, very strong champion in terms of the fact that very strong early, so great for skirmishing, has that single target knockup and the disruption with his ultimate, and you know, very not exactly a mechanically difficult champion to play either. Very hard to outplay a Xin Zhao because, you know, his knockup is point and click, and once he lands that W, that's all he really needs to do. So, however, I don't think either of these junglers do play characters like Xin Zhao. So, but we will find out. Was the Diana very solid pick? I'm a big fan of Diana being played in the mid lane, and I actually hate playing against Diana in the mid lane because it just feels like there's not much you can do. She just kind of spams her Q, which is not difficult to land at all, and it feels like that she uses like no mana, because Diana would just be able to Q for CS or QU or QU while getting the CS. And they will do that every time. And then it feels like they never run out of mana. And once they hit level 3, especially when they have runes like Electrocute as well for that burst build, they can just win these short trades by dashing onto you and using their W to tank some of the damage you try to deal back to them as well. So Diana, very, very strong champion right now. And of course, on top of that, outside of landing your Qs, which like we said before, isn't too difficult. Not exactly a mechanically difficult champion to play. So now we will be getting into champ select soon, so we'll see what these teams going to be going for, and if Errol White has any other things up their sleeve. Now they did go straight into this game, so I believe that the coach probably doesn't what he said in the previous game, he's gonna apply it to this game too. And we did see glimpses of Errol White's trying to make more plays and be a bit more proactive in terms of that. Picking champions like Nautilus and picking champions like Diana, trying to catch people out and engage fights on their own terms. And they are still just losing by one thing. And that one thing is not being able to take back the map once Rift Herald has been taken and used by Resilience Esports. So we'll see if they can do anything about it this game. I do see a Nah ban coming through. So it's something that we haven't really seen tonight. Nah, of course, very strong top laner in itself, having that massive stun. Like very great for jungle fights. And of course, having that range in the laning phase as well really helps you with that. Now, Pirate Pat is going to switch it up a bit and take this Mordekaiser into what it looks like the set matchup. So that's going to be interesting. Both top laners are very switching it up right now. Tyrannosaurus going back to a melee champion, going to duke it out with Pirate Pat, and Pirate Pat actually getting off this on and playing a more, I would say, like a carry-orientated champion like a Mordekaiser. Now, Duco is going to take this Morgana this time with the Lee Sin by Foreigner. Now, Foreigner, we did see hints of him playing very aggressively when he was playing Kindred in this first game. So Lee Sin being a champion that's able to facilitate that very, very well, even better than Kindred. So we're going to see if there's any, if Foreigner's going to do anything with that. Of course, a Blank going to take that Malphite into the mid lane. Whether it's going AP or not, we should see. But that's going to be going against Qiyana. Qiyana, not a champion I have seen often, but as an AD assassin, she is quite strong, just because AD assassin items are quite strong at the moment. And especially the mythics, you have like Duskblade, and then you have Prowler's Claw, both very good options on Qiyana. And you also have Collector as well, having that execute and that one shot. It's just very threatening if you're not a tank. So I would actually assume that Blank would go with a tank Malphite this game, especially when you have Lawrence sticking on that Tristana. When are we going to not see Tristana? Get out of this game. Oh god, that champion. I hate that champion. But that's going to be taken by Lawrence again. Very safe AD carry in the bot lane. Snarky actually going to go for the Samira. So he's going to look to make something happen. Oh, looks like he's not by himself, because Don't Gank Me is going to take this Leona too. They're definitely going to try and make catches again. Now going back to that Nautilus. This is going to be multi-catch comp. As we're going to see, how many people are going to get caught out by the Dredgeline and the Lee Sin kicks and the Malphite ultimates, and how many people are going to get caught out by the Dark Bindings and the Qiyana stuns and the Leona. So both teams, again, very strong champions for skirmishing, very strong champions for just having early pressure. You have champions like Qiyana, very, very strong, has that huge mid-game power spike with the 2 lethality items. You have champions like Lee Sin, very, very strong early, having, pretty much double the amount of abilities that every other champion has. Morgana as well, providing that utility with that Dark Binding, as we see Foreigner put that to work in the previous game. Now, Samira, definitely a bit of an odd pick, as we haven't quite seen that before. So quite all in your face. Very difficult lane matchup though, I would imagine, because if you look at the matchup, Tristana Nautilus versus Samira Leona, Samira does have a very, very short auto attack range. I believe she's got a 500 auto attack range. So to put that into perspective, I believe Vayne actually has about 550 or 525. So Samira actually has a shorter auto attack range than Vayne. So that's going to be a pretty difficult matchup against a Tristana, especially having a Nautilus appeal and that CC bot as well, just to interrupt anything Samira is trying to do. Leona though, also a CC bot in her own right, having multiple stuns and a very easy to connect Zenith Blade. Sometimes having a bit of a questionable hitbox on that ability, but reliable stuns nonetheless. Now Malphite is going to play a big part into dealing with the Samira as well. Having that just essentially, or may as well be a point and click ultimate, just very big area, just going in there and slamming them up in the air. That's going to be easily be able to interrupt anybody that decides to do anything. It could be used for peeling as well. So, you know, Malphite, when people think of Malphite, they think of a tank champion or an AP one-shot champion that likes to get in there and that likes to start fights, or that likes to catch people out and one-shot people. But you know, in some cases where your win condition isn't that, let's say your win condition is like a very fair Tristana, then your ultimate is actually very good for peeling for the Tristana. And just throw it on whoever that tries to jump on it, and then chain CC her with your support. And that's also a very good way to use Unstoppable Force. So, very... Actually, you know, Malphite, in that sense, he's actually somewhat of a... Or at least he's more flexible than most people would think. Of course, Set having a very similar ultimate as well. You can obviously use it to go in and to slam people back into your team. Or, again, you can use it to peel. Just point and click whoever's on your carries. And off they go. We do see there's Mordekaiser though. But again, like we said before, a bit of a different vibe to what we had. So, you know, Pirate Pat, you know, maybe he's getting sick of playing the Ornn. Maybe he's getting sick of playing that tank bot. Opts to go for that Mordekaiser. Like, hey guys, I want to get things done. You know, but of course, having that AP, very balanced damage output from the side of Era White this game, which is back on the blue side again, by the way, guys. So you know, you have AP damage in terms of Mordekaiser and Morgana, but you also have very strong AD from, of course, your AD carry Samira and this Kiana that's going to be building lethality. So very good damage spread across the board. Meanwhile, on the side of Resilience Esports, unless Malphite goes AP, it's going to be, you know, the damage is going to be pretty one-sided. It's just going to be, you know, they're all AD champions, sadly, in Tristana. And you don't really have a tank on the side of Era, except for Leona, which isn't really a tank. She's more like a support, so she's actually not going to be as tanky as, you know, someone like Ornn. So we're going to see how that goes and how that turns out for these teams. Now, of course, guys, this is, and this should be, the final game of the night. So hopefully we do see these teams kind of going at each other. Some players might be getting a bit tired now. Usually people are starting to feel a little bit of fatigue. A lot of players in this amateur scene do need to practice a lot of their stamina, which is a very big thing in situations like this. A lot of players, they will get tired after a couple of games, but you know, you need to stick in there to play these swims out and to just grind these games. So we'll see how these players go Now we are in game, so we will bring you in right now. Now we do see these guys. We're going to be doing something a little different now. Resilience Esports is going to start spreading. They're not going to do their 5-man invade top. They're going to switch it up a bit since they've done it. You know, they've done it twice already. So they are just going to do the standard spread right here. However, Arrow White is looking for a bit of a cheese in the bot lane bush potentially. Can't stay here for long though, as they do need to get to where they need to be. So both teams kind of dialing down the early game a bit. Of course, not having the or as strong of an invade as last time. You do have champions like Lee Sin, but and Set, but Set having to start Facebreaker is a little bit awkward in lane. Now, as we do see the spot lane very interesting because it looks like they are trying to go for a cheese themselves. Both teams trying to cheese. However, now he's going to be walking into a bit of trouble here. They're not going to try to find him. He's going to... Oh, that's the wrong bush. Now they're in that one. And he's going to get instantly stunned. Snocky's going to lay some damage onto him to flash into this another stun. Snocky beautifully going to pick up this first blood. Now, not quite... He had the right idea, but that's the wrong bush. And they can't really do much about that now. Blank is going to go in for a couple of smacks. And my Facebreaker is going to go through on this top lane as well. It's a bit of a trade going back and forth. Of course, Snocky being very happy, actually having the lead over this Tristana right now. Does have a bit of a HP disadvantage after that little fight there. Oh, see, there it is. There's the aggressive plays from Foreigner as we were talking about with that Lisa, and tries to go for the invade. However, his lanes do not quite have priority. So he is going to get roamed on by the Pirate Pack. Foreigner is just going to blast him away and safeguard. However, Xenoblade connects on now again. However, they are going to focus the damage back into the Tristana. The rocket jump does go through huge amounts of damage at this point in the game. Looks like Don't Get Me, not going to be enough damage. Rocket jump reset, it's going to go back to pick this up. Looks like they might have stayed for a little bit longer, or they couldn't, you know, they couldn't push the wave. So they're kind of forced to stay in lane a little bit. Of course, that's the lead kind of gone now, which is very sad because Snocky really needed that lead against this matchup. So you see Duco is going to walk into this lead, so Leeson does have the blue buff. Sonic Wave does land with the resonating strike. Duco forced to flash away. Their Dark Binding is not off cooldown yet. Can't really re-engage on this one. Qwerty is there just in case anything happens. They're actually staying on very low HP, but Tyrannosaurus, he's going to go up on this top lane against Pirate Pack. Pirate Pack, the shield's going to come through with that passive. It's going to keep him alive for now. Duco decides not to commit, but meanwhile, Qwerty's going to go in on Foreigner. Foreigner is going to dash around, back safeguard to Blank. Now he's going to flash to the wall because he found 3 people by himself. And mid lane, oh my god. Qwerty is actually going to go down from Blank. Now Foreigner is here. He might get caught out by the Xenoblade here into the Dark Binding. That's going to be a quick kill for Duco. He is staying in their jungle for too long. And that is an example of this thing. Maybe, you know, these players, they are getting tired. They are getting out. You know, their stamina is starting to run out, so they're not thinking as decisive enough. Just kind of lingering there unnecessarily. Getting a bit greedy, guys. So you see Qwerty does go in for a quick trade here. Blank uses a lot of mana to trade back. Actually takes a short end. Facebreaker goes out in the top lane though. Tyrannosaurus is going to take the trade on that. However, Pirate Pack does have the wave advantage. The wave doing so much damage. Haymaker is going to survive for a little bit. See Qwerty shove this wave and land more poke on Blank. Blank is actually in a bit of a rough spot now. No more corrupting potion charges. Does have a biscuit should he need to use it. Looks like he won't be able to go back to base with that 1 kill lead anytime soon. So you said that Dredge line getting blocked. Samira having that safety. However, it is on a very long cooldown. So we'll have to play very safe for the time being. He's just going to slowly poke that. Flashes in, goes for the kill there. Clean. The bot lane too. The rocket jump's going to go in. And Snocky, that's going to be a flash going through. The bomb's going to tick down. That's going to be enough to take the kill. And Tristana is going to start running away with this lead. having these 2 kills, already having a 150 gold bounty on her. She's just going to shove in this wave and try to deny as many minions of Snocky as she can. Snocky already on a CS deficit by 12. And 13, 14, that's almost a kills worth of gold. Oh my god, the dunk misses Pyro Pet. You're in a bit of trouble here. Tyrannosaurus does have the wave advantage. But that does take the bad end of the trade. Lawrence gets the plating off that as well. He is just having a lot of gold leads on him. Having a 300 gold lead already over this Samira on the side of White. See, Pirate Pack goes for the dunk. Not quite the damage there. Not the isolated damage that he wants. Gets a couple of CS through it though. So there it is again. Facebreaker going to punish that. And the pool's going to pull him into the tower for a little bit. Oh, there comes the ultimate. And the Haymaker's going to get flashed. Tyrannosaurus flashing in the other direction. Both 1 HP. This is going to be huge. Sonic Wave misses. Foreigner's going to take a couple of tower hits. And it looks like they're not going to commit too much on there. Foreigner did have the right idea to try and pick up that cheeky kill, but unfortunately that Sonic Wave does not quite connect there. Qwerty is going to come back to mid to a healthy blank with that armor, plated steel caps already. That's going to mitigate a lot of the damage. As you see, TP comes through from Tyrannosaurus. Doesn't have flash for the Facebreaker, but is going to be very favorable in terms of this lane state. And say, oh my god, Pirate Pack, you're in a bit of trouble now. Realm of Death is going to go through on Foreigner. Foreigner is just going to Sonic Wave Resonating Strike. Oh my god, the damage from Pirate Pack. He is 2 levels above you. That's a mistake. Oh my god, Blank comes in from over the wall waiting for that ultimate. Actually saving Foreigner's ass and actually going to pick up that kill right there. However, his lane is getting pushed up by Qwerty. See, bot lane is going to be in a bit of trouble for Snocky, as you know, Tristana does have that crit cloak now and is going to deal heaps of damage if those crits go through with that bomb. Very dangerous, as Leona's going to also not do too much outside of a few stuns. Oh my god, they're back in top lane. Is this a camp or what again? Foreigners is going to go through with the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike. Pirate Pat living for the time being. Haymaker going to be dodged from the middle. Oh my god, the snipe. Is that a snipe or what from that Sonic Wave? And Qwerty is going to take a bit of a trade in the mid lane. Blank doesn't quite have unstoppable force yet. Qwerty is a bit low there in the bot lane. Action is happening as Don't Gank Me is going to tank a lot of the hits, and the bomb itself, Snocky is going to have that exhaust going to help him out. However, the more damage and the ignite's going to go back onto him. The flash stretch line is going to clean him up. One more tower shot is going to kill now. But however, Tristana is going to take the kill onto Don't Gank Me, and she's going to... Oh my god, another snipe by Foreigner on the Sonic Wave. Warthogs actually takes one too many tower shots, is going to go down. Qwerty will be getting away with a kill from that one. Already has that serrated Dirk to try and get through a little bit of that plated steel caps. Lawrence going to be able to get more plating. He's getting even further and further ahead. Killing spree now, 3 and 0. He is going to be able to buy the Noon Quiver and possibly the boost if he wanted to. You can see Blank is a bit He's going to stick into the mid lane and try and push this lane in. Now is going to start roaming topside now. They're going to look for these skirmishes and, if not, the vision controls. See, Duco going to take this rip, but he's also going to be clearing towards topside. Looks like there might be another play getting made towards Pirate Pen. Oh my god, Pirate Pen, you're just going to try to get dove on this whole series. Poor you. And you see the pool does pull Tyrannosaurus out of range. So all the unstoppable force goes through on Duco. Duco in a bit of a trouble there. Splash is going to go through with the Dark Binding. Dragon's Rage is going to finish the kill. That stun is not going to do too much, as Duco is already in the graveyard. Looks like they will take the rip here on the side of Resilience. Oh my god, is this a repeat of last game or what? That is a Rift Herald, and can Era White survive this time? Can they play around the Rift Herald from Resilience Esports? Can they prevent themselves from getting choked on the map? Because that's how they've been losing the past 2 games. Now is looking for a bit of a dredge line pick there in the top lane. Pirate Pet is a bit outnumbered. He knows he's there. That's a very aggressive position. However, mid lane, Qwerty does engage this fight with that stealth. It's going to help store some time. Blank is going to get hit by the Zenith Blade with the stun. However, Qwerty's in a bit of trouble because Foreigners is here to back him up. And he's going to turn his attention towards Don't Gank Me. Don't Gank Me. He's going to land that stun. However, Pirate Pet's in the action of himself. Duco with that Dark Binding is going to land on Tyrannosaurus. Shoal Shackles as well. Going to chase EC. Haymaker going to let him survive a little bit. Foreigner is going to go back onto Don't Gank Me. Don't Gank Me is going to go down. However, Pirate Pet very low here with the shield. That dunk is going to clean up the kill. Triumph heals him for a little bit. The Ward Hop into the Sonic Wave. Resonating Strike. Triple is going to be able to slow Duco. Oh my god, the cheese ball is going to roll the cheese reel. And okay, the Sonic Wave picks up the kill. Oh my god, Pirate Pet is going to be running rampant with that Triumph by itself. Mordekaiser, such a strong champion, of course, going for the tankier early option with the plated steel caps as well. Being able to survive a lot of the damage coming from Set and this Lee Sin. Foreigner is going to look for the snipe though. He's going to drop Shelly for the time being. Going to have that perfect Sonic Wave, does miss. Shelly is threatening this top lane. Pirate Pet, what are you going to do about this? He's just going to have to run onto the opposite side. He looks like he has nowhere to go. Foreigner, he's going to regen up to full HP with that red buff. Resonating Strike is going to close the gap. The pull is going to go through. Pirate Pet, you're not going to get out of this one. Warthog is going to secure that kill for Foreigner. I do see Qwerty going to come up. He is in 2v1 though, a little bad situation. That stun, oh, looks like it's on the wrong wall. That's a bit tragic. Is that a tragedy or what? Now, Qwerty is going to have to flash this Sonic Wave. A bit of a misplay there, of course, not expecting not expecting them to kind of just lean towards on the other side or on the other wall. So a bit of a whiff ultimate there. Now mid lane is going to get pushed and Rift Herald is still not used. Foreigner's usage of Rift Herald has been a key to cracking the map from Era White and to opening up these games. How will he use it this time? We do see Qwerty going to be able to defend mid lane for the time being. Unstoppable Force is available from Blank, and looks like Blank is actually going to go for this tank option, not going for the AP Malphite, having that Barmy's Cinder. Looks like he's going to go for that Sunfire Aegis. You see Pirate Pet trying to defend against Tyrannosaurus there. Both these characters level 8. Just the pull coming through, and there's the ultimate. That's going to chunk Pirate Pet. Pirate Pet does have the shield though. Haymaker with the shield as well. There's the heal with the dunk. Tyrannosaurus on this set does have the advantage. He's looking for it. There's that move speed. Flashes. Flash for flash. Qwerty going to come in for potential backup here. Does not have ultimate though. As he Tyrannosaurus is gonna walk out. Oh my god, is this a 3-man gank or what? There it is. And oh my god, Death Charge is gonna go on this Samara. That's gonna be taken down very clean with Foreigner taking both these kills with the help of the CC. And Tyrannosaurus Rex is gonna have a little duel with Qwerty now with the Ignite going down. Haymaker's already been used. There's the stealth gonna keep him alive. Ignite is ticking down, but oh my god, Tyrannosaurus Rex is actually gonna take him down. Of course, having that extra tankiness on the champion like Set. Bot lane also Foreigner following up very beautifully, and also beautifully set up by now with the CC, using that auto attack on Don't Gank Me, and then depth charging the Snocky at the same time, effectively CCing 2 players at once. So beautifully played and set up by now on this Nautilus. Now Blank is going to be happy to take this plating here. Of course, punishing Qwerty's death in the top lane.
Will soon fall.
Now that Rift Herald used in the top lane to deal with to kind of chase down Pirate Pet there. Pirate Pet does have to give up his turret in that scenario a few minutes ago. However, it is a top lane turret, so nothing too major there. But of course, this is kind of the same scenario as last game where both side turrets are down. So now they're gonna focus on the mid, especially when Dragon is gonna come up soon, any minute. You see the sweeper gonna help him see Qwerty in that stealth. Xenoblade does not connect. Pirate Pet is gonna pull one onto now has a depth charge and flash out of that one. Sonic Wave does connect. And the strike actually goes back in, but meanwhile Pirate Pet is actually handling 2 people there. Oh my god, there's just multiple fights going all across the board. Lawrence, he's going to take down from the Tormentor Sword. That's going to do anything. Oh my god, the ultimate coming from Sid with the stopwatch from Pirate Pet. Pirate Pet, can he live? Don't gank me. He's on 1 HP. The cripple, the slow, Sonic Wave is going to get the kill. Pirate Pet lands the dunk. Tyrannosaurus Rex, he is going to pick up that kill with the help of Foreigner's presence. Duco has that Dark Binding, is going to have to run away. He's going to wait for the next stretch line. Has that double buff and that red buff to keep him regening. Okay, auto attacks just to give it a slow, but however, Blank is here. Dark Binding misses, that's going to be huge. Foreigner is going to pick that up. Actually, no, that gets hit by Blank with the ground slam. So, that is absolutely crucial skirmishing from the side of Resilience. This is what we're talking about. Skirmishing, very powerful from the side of Resilience. Of course, having that multiple... That was a very messy fight, actually. Having multiple different fights happening at the same time. You have Lawrence 1v1ing the Juco, and then you have a Pirate Pet just... 1v1ing the set with the Foreigner just going in by himself as well onto the rest of the team of Era White. Just a very hectic fight and a very messy. So, very interested to see the calls and the comms and the teams over there. Of course, that also might be a result of these players, of course, lacking the stamina. Might be feeling a bit tired now on the third game, 15 minutes into the third game. You have to keep in mind that these players are constantly talking, they are constantly communicating, trying to come up with strategies since the start of the series. And, what makes being a pro player hard is part of it is stamina. You gotta keep being able to focus and keep being able to talk to your team and relay information and process information and perform actions and calculations on your own. And doing that for scrim blocks of like 8 games, 6 to 8 games, that's really hard. Oh my god, the Dragon's Rage with the Warpog, and Sonic Wave does connect. He's going to go back into it. Pirate Pet pretty tanky, though not going to quite go down. The Xenoblade does connect. He's going to kill Blank. Blank, Unstoppable Force, not going to be enough to keep him alive. We see them catching out Resilience Esports. Now Dredgeline goes back into delay. He is in a 1v4, though. He's going to get taken down very swiftly. Bit of an overstay there, bit of a greedy play despite the wards. No objective is quite up yet. There was no need to be this aggressive this early on. The Dragon is going to actually come up pretty soon. And another Rift Herald is going to be taken by Foreigner here. Now, having a Rift Herald, especially right before the Dragon, gives you so much control. Because you can choose which lane to pressure, and the other team has to react to that Rift Herald. And you have the room to pretty much just do the Dragon while they react. And that's why Rift Herald is so powerful. However, Era White does beat them to the Dragon, though. They are going to try and take this down as quickly as possible. However, they're going to get outnumbered here. 3v4, 3v5. TT does go through. Zuko, you're singled out. Soul Shackles with the Zonias. That's going to keep him for a little bit. Pirate Pet, you're in a bit of a rough spot. Realm of Death onto now on this Mordekaiser. Can you finish the kill? The passive taken down. He does. But that is 4 people waiting for him on the outside. You're not allowed to live. He's going to be taken to that gray screen. Now, despite having that Dragon on the side of Era White, they're going to lose that team fight. And we're going to see if they're going to use this Rift Herald to crack this base in the middle here. Now, we do see a lot better rotations from Era White. They are putting a bit more of a fight. Of course, being able to take more dragons this game. Shelly does come through into this mid lane. One more slam, there it is. We're going to take this turret. Inhib is going to be next. Going to be able to take this one very swiftly. Shelly is going to finish that off. Shelly is just going to have to let that go and back off now. Actually, very, very early Inhib. 18.5 minutes. Not quite sure. But that's a good idea because most teams, they actually don't want to take the Inhib before 20 minutes. Because, number one, Baron is not up. So there's actually not much value out of pressuring your base. And number two, you're also, because the lane auto pushes super minions, you're actually kind of funneling farm into the enemy team. And, you know, because they're always going to collect the wave. So they actually have a chance to, or have an easy time to catch up in terms of farm. So you're actually in the backseat and you're actually forced to make things happen while they farm as well. So taking an inhib pre-20 minutes is generally not exactly a good idea. But they do go through with it anyway, so we're going to see what they can do with it. Of course, speaking of farm, Lawrence does have a bit of a lead here on Snocky. With Snocky not doing too bad of himself. 148 at 19.5 minutes is not too shabby for this game state. Now Pirate Pet not going to quite challenge Tyrannosaurus here, as it is a level down. Tyrannosaurus actually opts for the Gore Drinker on the set right now, not the Stride Breaker build, so pretty interesting. So most of the time we do see a Stride Breaker being built on set for the extra mobility. However, Tyrannosaurus opting for that heal. Oh, now you might be caught out warding a little bit. I'm not going to commit too much there, as his teammates are going to be around to bail him out should he need to. Oh my god, he's going to turn on this Baron. With that damage. With that Kraken Slayer, with the bomb on this Tristana, it's going to be very quickly be able to take this Baron down. Now trying to zone here. This line is going to get Black Shield. The Dark Binding is going to get him killed. Not quite. He's going to flash away. 1 HP. Solar Flare is going to try and slow him down. Dredge line to the wall. The Ignite's going to finish him off. However, in the meanwhile, Slam does go through. The kick goes on to Pirate Pet. Pirate Pet going to find his way into Lawrence with the Realm of Death. However, that runs out and the rest of the team is going to clean him up. The TP is going to go to the base. Tyrannosaurus looking to end the game with that minion wave. With this Baron buff assault, a flash. Sonic Wave is going to get blocked. Snocky is going to try and kite this one out. Not quite. Sonic Wave is going to connect into Don't Gank Me. Snocky is going to get flash. Face break it into the Haymaker. That's going to be game. And the FF coming through from Arrow White. Brazilians Esports taking 3 games tonight. Oh, great games by these teams. Of course, Arrow White having a bit of trouble again in those skirmishes, not quite finding the picks or the engages they need, or not quite fighting on their own terms. That seems to be the name of the game for the Scrim, and Rift Herald not doing too much there that game. Of course, Arrow White's actually didn't do too bad that game, despite Resilience taking Rift Herald. They actually kind of held on to it for a bit, able to take a couple of fights. But having said that, they did get a kind of out team fought in terms of especially when Lawrence, he is just able to put in a lot more work that game than Snocky is able to. Snocky on the Samira not being able to find the opportunity to go in, especially when you have champions like Set and Lisa and Malphite and Nautilus, very threatening champions, and you have to just wait for so many cooldowns to come out before you can safely go in. So Samira, very tough game for that champion against this matchup. Of course, Corki on this Kiana too had a great start. A bit of a tragedy in the top lane with that misplay in that 1v2 could have been pretty huge. I actually liked the idea, but execution was off. So nothing going for him right there. Juko, of course, having a better game, able to secure 2 dragons this game for his team, and being able to find those dark bindings and make those catches. So very well done. Arrow White, they did have small glimpses of hope, and there are fights where they did punish. And it's funny because the fights that they punish are almost always in forms of overstaying. They always punish Resilience Esports for overstaying. And the funny thing is, and the ironic thing is that they, after punishing, overstate themselves, and then in turn gets punished back. So that's a bit of a odd situation. But there are glimpses of hope for Arrow White. They do have solid players, and they do have the right idea. Not sure if that team comp was exactly the one they're going for, and I'm not sure if they did plan to have the Samira and play around the Samira. So I don't know what the goal or the identity of that comp is. Whereas if you look at Resilience Esports, the identity is very, very clear. You have that Tristana, you want to skirmish, you want to pick fights with that Malphite ulti, with the set in your own terms, and you want to make catches and just run wild with this Tristana in this late game before that engage. And that's their identity. And I can't really see the identity in the side of Arrow White. Of course, they have that Leona. They want to make those catches with the Zenith Blades, with the Solar Flares. They want to make catches with Dark Bindings too. But you're talking a lot of tanky champions and a lot of hard to catch champions on the side of Resilience Esports. Of course, Set, very tanky, can easily turn fights around with Haymaker and their ultimate Malphite as well. Going for that tank build. Lisa, very slippery champion. So I do think it's a bit of a draft error on the side of Arrow Whites in this game. And but nonetheless, all around, all solid players. I very enjoyed watching those games. And hope you guys enjoyed them too. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. That will be the end of tonight's scrim night between these two teams. Thank you to Arrow White, thank you to Resilience Esports, and thank you to the coaches for providing us with this gameplay and content. And I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for watching, guys.